Hey there guys, Zach here for Windows Central and welcome back to another video. Now today we're taking a look at the Windows 10 October 2018 update, also known as version 1809. This is the latest version of Windows 10 that Microsoft is now rolling out to Windows 10 users that's packing a number of new features and enhancements over the last major Windows 10 feature update, which was released back in April of this year. So it's been about 6 months since then and Microsoft has been pretty busy working on new stuff for users to enjoy. So this video will go over all of the biggest new changes in this release. It won't go over everything because frankly there's too much to go over. It would take forever to do so. So we'll just talk about the main talking points in this video. So diving straight in, the first noteworthy changes are with the start menu. Now on the surface, the start menu hasn't really changed. It's looked and felt this way for quite a few releases at this point. But now I can name live folders just like you used to be able to do on Windows Phone. So if we come over to the side here, let's pin a couple of apps. Let's pin video editor and voice recorder, and let's create a folder called editing, for example. We can now drag this over into the video editor tile, create that folder, and I can now name the folder. So we can call that editing. And there we go. We now have an editing folder that is available down there. And we can resize them as per usual. I can make it smaller if I want to, or I can make it really, really large. So on and so forth. You can now name your live folders. So that's pretty much it for the start menu. Not a whole lot to talk about, but it's nice to see regardless. Let's move over to the Action Center. The Action Center basically looks and feels the same. You may notice a slight fade-in effect when notifications are present in the Action Center now, but otherwise it's more or less the same. Down here, however, there is a new quick action called Screen Snip, and what this is tied into Microsoft's entirely new screenshotting experience in Windows 10 October 2018 update. So if we click on this here, you'll see a new sort of bar at the top appear, and you can now draw a shape to create a screenshot. So if we want to just screenshot this part of the screen here, we can do so like that. And now that screenshot has now been saved to my clipboard. If I tap on this notification here, this will open me up into a new app called Snip and Sketch, where I can annotate on it and save it for sharing on Twitter or in documents and so on. So that's the new screen clipping experience. Now this also works with the keyboard command. So if you do Windows key, Shift and S, that will also bring up the new screenshot tool. And I can even do a full screenshot if I want to. Save to my clipboard, and I can click on it. Then I can draw on it like this. Where's my pen? There it is. I'll go, hey, Windows logo, Windows, yay. And that works just like that. We have lots of different options up here. We have that option. What's that? What is the difference there? I guess one's a pencil, one's a pen. Yeah, that makes sense. Then we've got highlighter tool. We've got eraser, a ruler. Then we can even crop it once we've taken the photo, the screenshot as well. So that's the new screenshotting experience in Windows 10. It's a nice update over the old one. Now the old one is still here if you use the snipping tool. It is still present, but it will be going away at some point. So Microsoft does want you to use the new screenshotting experience out of box here, which is why it's set as default. The old Windows key and screenshot command still works. It will not interrupt you there. You can just do that and it will take a full screenshot. You won't get any new UIs interrupting you or anything. The new screenshotting experience is only for those of you who used to use the snipping tools. So for those of you basically who pressed Windows, Shift and S. Now, moving right along, the next noteworthy change in this update is with File Explorer. So File Explorer looks and feels pretty much the same in this version of Windows. If you're not somebody who messes around with personalizing their PC, you likely won't appreciate this change. But for those of you who do and like the dark mode feature in Windows 10, there is a new dark mode for File Explorer. So if we come up to colors here, scroll down and select dark and relaunch File Explorer, you'll appreciate the brand new dark File Explorer. It looks pretty good. The top of the title bar here is all dark, so is the ribbon here more or less. Then below it we have slightly different shades of grey, which looks pretty good next to other dark mode apps. If we come to here, you'll see that it's dark mode in File Explorer, and even the context menus are dark now, which is much appreciated, even on the desktop. So even when File Explorer is closed, you will have dark context menus on the desktop, which may match your wallpaper or your aesthetic if you're using dark mode everything. Let's change the color to that. I really do not appreciate the default Windows color. Now, it's not perfect. Don't expect to be entirely shielded from bright white interfaces when using dark mode in Windows 10 now. There are still some areas such as dialog boxes here, which are still white, haven't been themed dark yet. So like I said, be careful when you're using this at night with low lighting. In a low light environment, your eyes may still be blinded at random intervals. Otherwise, it looks pretty good. Now, another minor UI change involves the borders around windows. In the previous update, borders looked a little bit like this. It would always have an outline of your accent color that you had chosen in the settings app, but now in version 1809, the October 2018 update, that border is no longer there. It will now just look seamless, and in my opinion, this looks much cleaner. Now, this is still an option, so you can go back into settings and turn on that colored border if you prefer it, but by default, the window borders no longer have a colored accent. It's just dark. It just looks like a shadow, and I think it looks much better. There's also a new context menu design that shows up in some areas of the system, mainly universal/modern areas, but it looks like this. It has translucency, it has the acrylic blur effects and stuff, and it has animation as well. It looks quite nice. Now again, it doesn't show up everywhere, but it does also offer formatting options. So as you can see here, in an area where you can customize the text, it will provide you formatting. So I can make text bold if I want to, or underlined. Let's try it now. So let's do testing. Let's make that bold and underline it. And hey, there you go. That's exactly what that does. It's pretty cool. All right, one of the new changes in Windows 10 is something called Cloud Clipboard. Now, the best way to demo this is to simply open an app like Notepad and begin typing. So if I could type, I really can't. Brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Now, with the new Cloud Clipboard experience, Windows no longer just forgets the last thing you copied when you copy something else. It will remember it for you, and it can even sync it across devices. So if we select all of this text and press Ctrl-C, that has now been saved into my clipboard, and I can view the clipboard by pressing the Windows key and V. There it is. There is my text I just copied, and previously all those screenshots I took are also in the clipboard as well. And like I said, this is a cloud clipboard, so this is also syncing across devices. So if I had another Windows 10 device signed into the same Microsoft account, I could copy and paste content across devices. Now let's type something else. What's going on with the latest version of Windows 10? Copy. We open the Windows clipboard, you'll see that that is now in there as well. And I can even pin some of these snippets for saving forever, I guess. So if we pin this, this will no longer disappear after a certain amount of time. That will always be there for me to copy and paste across devices, which is very nice. So there are some settings for this here. If we jump into System and go down to Clipboard, you'll see that you can disable it if you want. So if you don't want to use the clipboard history function at all, you can turn it off. And you can even turn off the cloud capability. So if you just prefer having your copied content locally on the device, you can do that. It will not sync to the cloud. Let's sync us to the cloud though. If we jump back up here and see what changed. It says last synced. Let's try something else. Test. And that should now be syncing across devices. We can also clear all here. And that will remove everything in the clipboard's history. So that's a very quick look at the new clipboarding experience in Windows 10. It's very nice. Again, it's accessed with the Windows key and V. I think you can access it from everywhere. Yes, so anywhere, even if you're not in a text field, you can access the clipboard from anywhere and paste content that you copied earlier and from across devices if you have that enabled. Pretty nice. Now, another new change in version 1809 is the Cortana UI. Cortana's home has been slightly redesigned. It's a lot wider now, which looks pretty nice, and it's less focused on the virtual assistant side of things and more focused on helping you be productive. So as you can see here, it's emphasizing search more than it used to. So search for apps, files, web results, and more at the top here. You can even categorize it. So if I want to search for just apps, I can just select apps here and type something that I haven't searched for before. Let's search for store. There we go, and it will bring up the Microsoft Store. Universal Search is still here and works as expected, so we can just type, Windows Central, and that will bring up the app as well as search suggestions, which we can then launch the website, and so on and so forth. There's also a How Can I Help area down here, which basically gives you tips and suggestions for things that you can use Cortana for, which is very nice. And it will sometimes also show you recent timeline activities. Now, it's not showing up here, but I can show you a screenshot, and that will give you the last 3 recent timeline activities, or at least the most relevant timeline activities to you, which will allow you to pick up where you left off in those certain apps or documents. Now, timeline is still here in the October 2018 update, and not much has changed. It looks and feels basically the same as it did before. It's a lot faster now, however. If we open up some apps here, you'll see that the animations don't drop as much. It's still not perfect. It's definitely laggy on devices with higher resolution screens still. And as you can see there, the animation is still sort of broken when zooming back into the app. Otherwise, timeline is still more or less the same. It just performs a little bit better now. Moving right along, the next noteworthy feature is with a new app called Your Phone. So Your Phone is something Microsoft is doing that helps users sort of stay productive whilst using their PCs. Microsoft says that having your PC next to your phone can be counterproductive sometimes because you'll be constantly receiving notifications and messages, and you'll be looking away from your PC and at your phone when you're trying to write a report or something. So the Your Phone app's kind of designed to help you stop looking away from your PC. It can run in the background, and whenever you receive a notification, such as a text message, you can just see it on the PC and respond to it there or ignore it. So if we jump down to messages here, you see that this is my messages, SMS messages inbox. I have nothing here right now, but we can create a new conversation. I'll quickly message my friend Jane, and I can say, hey Jane, have you tried out the new Your Phone stuff yet? Ooh, it's pretty cool. I can send that off, and now that will send an SMS message using my SMS app on my phone from the app on my PC here. Now, let's wait a minute for Jane to respond, but that's basically how it works. It worked pretty quickly there. So it does work through Wi-Fi, so if you're not on the same Wi-Fi connection as your phone, this unfortunately will not work. But if you are, then hey, it works pretty well. And there's the message back from Jane. It's pretty fast. I literally just received that, and about 2 seconds later, it showed up in the app. Now, if we minimize this and try this again, surprise, Jane isn't a real person. It is me just messaging myself. That's how sad I am. Let's just test here, and we'll show you that the notifications do work when running in the background, or at least when minimized. And there you go, Jane Smith message there. Test, I can tap on it, which will then allow me to reply with, awesome, it worked. Now, in addition to the SMS messaging, there's also a photos option here, and this allows you to see the last 30 photos you've taken on your device. Now, this is useful because it means that I no longer have to take a photo, wait for it to upload to OneDrive, then download it from OneDrive and put it into my document, or plug in a cable and manually transfer it from the phone to my PC. I can just take the photo, and in a few seconds, it shows up in the Your Phone app without me having to do anything, which I can now tap on and treat like a local file. So as you see, it's opened up in the Photos app here, and if I open up, let's see, WordPad. Unfortunately, I don't have an Office subscription to use the Office apps on this, but this will still work. I can drag this over. Oh, let's split these up. I can drag this over into another document, and there you go. It's now in my document. I can continue writing around it. This is a plant. There you go. That's how that works. It's entirely seamless. It works. It's like magic. It shouldn't work as well as it does, but it does, and that's pretty cool. Now, this does require the Your Phone companion app to be running on an Android phone. Unfortunately, Microsoft does say they're working on iPhone support at some point, but for now, it only works with Android devices, thanks to Apple's limitations as to what third-party developers can do when it comes to building apps on iOS. So that's a very quick look at the new Your Phone feature in Windows 10. It works pretty nice, and over time, Microsoft says they're going to be adding more features to it too, such as screen mirroring, which will allow you to actually see your phone's screen on your PC, and even notification support, so you won't have to look at your phone to see your notifications list. You'll just be able to see it all straight from within the app. So the end goal here is to have an app which makes it so you don't have to use your phone at all. You can just see it directly on your PC, which will be pretty great. But for now, photos and SMS, which says in preview, works pretty well and is pretty nice for this initial launch. All right, Microsoft Edge time. As with every Windows 10 update, Microsoft Edge has received a number of new features and enhancements. Now, most of the improvements to Edge in this release are under the hood, so I can't actually show them to you, but there are some surface changes that are worth noting. The first of which is this slight UI change. There's now a subtle drop shadow effect behind tabs, and frankly, it looks pretty nice. So if we go to bing.com here, there's a slight shadow effect. Now, if you're somebody who doesn't care about UI and stuff, you will not notice that tiny change. But if you are, then it looks pretty nice. Now, the other noteworthy change is with the settings menu. The settings menu has been redesigned. It now has icons and stuff and looks pretty slick. But if the settings area here has also been updated, it now looks just like the hub area. So if you haven't used Edge before, the hub area looks something like this, and it has done since the April update earlier this year. And now the settings area looks just like it as well. So they're unifying the UIs across areas of the app, which is pretty nice. Let's switch to dark theme because dark theme is best theme. Now, if we go into privacy and security, there are a couple of additional changes in here as well. So there's a new option that allows you to automatically block auto-playing videos. This is something that many people will appreciate. Media autoplay, so you can block it entirely. So if you go to a website where a video starts to automatically play, you can tell Edge to just not allow them to play now, and it will stop playing those videos, which is fantastic. There's also some changes to billing and how billing works. If you fill out a billing form, Edge will now ask to save that billing information, so you can just automatically fill it up at a later date using Microsoft Pay. That's something I can't demo here because I don't have a demo card to show you, but yeah, it's a feature that works now. Now, another new change is with PDFs. If we quickly download a PDF here, let's do Surface RT PDF. Yeah, that would do. We can save that. In addition to actually showing the PDF stuff, we can also quickly show you the new option to right click and show in folder. Finally, Microsoft has added a show in folder option to Edge. This is something that has been missing for so long. It's finally here and it works pretty nice. Now, if we open up this PDF here, the PDF reader is slightly updated. Yeah, the only real notable differences here is that you can now pin and unpin the bar at the top, as you can see here. What that does, I don't know, but you can do it now, which is nice. Oh, and also the PDF icon has changed. If we quickly make this larger. How do I make this larger? There we go, extra large. That's a new PDF icon, and I think it looks nice. But yeah, that's just some of the new features and changes in Microsoft Edge. There's a lot more under the hood, as I said. It's a much better browser in this release, but it really is in every release. It does get better and better every single time. So if you're somebody who tried Edge before and didn't like it, make sure you give it another try with this release because, hey, it may finally be good enough for you. All right, now this is something for the gamers. There is a new game bar. The game bar is not a new feature. It has been in Windows for a while now, but it looks different in this one. It's been updated with a new UI, and this is what it looks like. It gives you your game capturing stuff at the top, as well as audio controls, and eventually at some point as well, it will even show you system performance. Now, it's not working here because I'm not using it on a device where that is something that would be useful to me, and I'm not sure if it's working just yet in this release, but it is something Microsoft is working on, which will likely show up in the next release if it isn't already in this one. So up here you'll see your Xbox profile, which I'm not currently signed into, and there's lots of different settings for it, just like there was in the past. And overall it looks pretty nice. Oh, I closed it. There we go. Let's close you out. We can start recording, record the last 30 seconds, turn mic on whilst recording, and even broadcast to Mixer. Then of course we can turn up and down our audio and stuff. Very nice indeed. All right, let's jump into settings. Settings has a couple of noteworthy new changes. The first of which is this, I guess, suggestion on the right here. So with the October 2018 update, the settings app will now suggest things for you to do. So you can see here, focus and get more done. With Focus Assist, it's easy to block notifications, sounds, and alerts whenever you want to create distraction-free work time. I click on Learn More, and that should open up the area where Focus Assist is. Pretty nice, right? So yeah, that's the thing now. Also, the sidebar here will now suggest questions that are being commonly asked by people, I believe, and you can get answers to it straight from the sidebar as well. Also, the delivery optimization option, which was in the past buried in the Windows Update area, is now, it has a Surface category here in the sidebar, which allows you to configure delivery optimization quickly. Windows Security, Windows Defender has been renamed to Windows Security and even has a nice new app UI like this. Well, I say new, it's got Fluent Design in it now, which is pretty nice. We always like Fluent Design here at Windows Central. Now, if we come into devices, I think it is, and go down to typing, there is a new feature called Typing Insights. Now, Typing Insights works with the virtual on-screen keyboards as well as physical keyboards if you enable the hardware keyboard options in settings. What it does is essentially what SwiftKey does on your phone. If you've ever used SwiftKey on an Android or iOS device, that kind of logs all of your keystrokes, your typing, your suggested words, your auto-corrected words, and the same is now being applied here in Windows. Let's try this again. That's definitely not what I said. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Close enough. This is a test. If we jump back into settings here, with any luck, we'll see some typing insights. Yes, so we now have 37 keystrokes saved, 1 spelling correction, and 9 swiped words. Microsoft's official description for this is to help you save time and type efficiently. Windows uses AI to do everything from suggesting words to auto-correcting spelling mistakes. Take a look at the insights below to see up-to-the-minute stats on how AI has played a part in your typing. So the typing insights do work with hardware keyboards as well, but only if you turn on these 2 options here. So text suggestions as I type and autocorrect misspelled words as I type. So these 2 things kind of do what virtual keyboards have been doing for a while on phones. They will suggest words and correct spelling mistakes whilst you're typing on a hardware keyboard. Now, if we try this up here, I spelt wanted wrong on purpose there, but you'll see that there's now a box here that says, you know, hey, would you like to say wanted instead? If I press space here, it will correct that word for me. I wanted to watch Star Wars with my friend Jane. Jane's back, everybody. So there you go, and you can see it is correcting words here. And if I jump back into typing insights, those numbers are actually being updated, which is pretty nice. So the last thing we're going to look at today in this update is the new Skype app. Yes, there's another new Skype app in Windows 10, and this is what it looks like. This is the universal Skype app. It's basically the same as the desktop Skype app version 8, except it's slightly more limited. It doesn't have any of the broadcaster features that the desktop version has for some reason. Hopefully that will be added at some point, but everything else is more or less the same. So yeah, it looks pretty nice. If you've seen this app before, then you know what it's all about. If you haven't, then hey, this is what it looks like. It does calling, messaging, all that good stuff. It's a Skype app, as most of them are. It also has a dark mode, which for some reason isn't enabled. I will enable that for you right now. General car theme. Dark mode, yes please. Ooh, doesn't that look better? I do like a good dark mode. Now, the last thing I want to quickly demo is the new pen inking features when inking into a text field. Now, this was in the 1803 update earlier this year, but it wasn't on by default, but in this one it is. So if I tap on a text field with a pen here, I'll now get a dedicated writing area, which I can now just write straight into that text box. So I can say, update. Christ, that was terrible handwriting. There we go. I'm jumping to check for updates. So that should work in a number of text fields. It won't work in every text field, but it will work in hopefully most of them. Let's try this down here. Yes, it works down there, for example. Let's try up in this app. There's a search bar here. Yep, works in there as well. Won't work everywhere, like I'd mentioned. Let's try Edge. No. So there you go. There's one area where it doesn't seem to show up for some reason. But yes, in a number of the system sort of search bars and whatever else and text fields, it will show up, which is very nice. Okay, so that's a quick-ish look at the most noteworthy new changes in the Windows 10 October 2018 update. There is a ton more that we haven't looked at, including a more deeper dive into things like Edge and the Windows shell and all that stuff. So make sure you check out windowscentral.com. If you want to look in the description below as well, we'll have a link to the changelog that we've compiled, which is way more detailed than this video. The update is rolling out now to users running Windows 10 for free. You can go and check for updates. If your PC isn't receiving it yet, it will likely receive it very soon. And that's pretty much it. So thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye-bye.